Hardy
Hardy,
hello.
hello.
Oh, that was so out of sync.
It's fine. It's online. We're doing our
It is,
best.
yes.
All right.
Welcome, folks.
Welcome, folks.
Today we have a new setup. Today we've got video.
Yeah, you
It's
can
so
see
exciting.
our beautiful faces. Isn't that wonderful for you?
Yes. And of course, like we got our regular like listening outlets as well. So we'll still be on Spotify and Google Play or Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we're available.
Yeah, it's just
Um,
gonna be the audio file of this. So, I mean, those are great and all, but like, I suggest you really look at us because we're really good to look at. So, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
We're two good looking college students, which is why we didn't release the podcast this past weekend.
yeah.
We had finals. How did that go for you?
Well, let's just jump up into like what's up with you.
Yeah.
All
What's
right,
up with you?
all right. So, how did my finals go? You know, they were busy and everything, but I think it was more like the culmination of things, like the project. I had a final project, a final exam, and a final paper, basically in every class. And like, you got to prioritize, right? So like the class I was doing well in, physics, I spent less time on, but I took that for granted because obviously it's physics, it's hard. And so the final, I just barely got the grade that I needed, but I did. So I learned that today. It was stress reliever, right? And I actually got all my grades today. And it was like
Same.
a giant relief because I had dreams that like my grades were based on a garden and my garden was shit, apparent to my teacher. So they gave me a 0 and I failed my life. And
Wait, like an actual garden?
yes, my dream was that I had to build a garden and my garden had potatoes and flowers. And he was like, why do you have potatoes and flowers in the same garden? This is stupid. And he gave me a 0. And I was really mad because the 0 brought me down to 1 point below the grade I wanted. And I was like, what the hell, man? And so I brought my mom over and he's like, I don't know what you want me to do. And that was the end of it.
Oh my god, that sounds pretty intense.
The dreams are always intense.
Yeah,
So
that sounds like it.
yeah.
Dude, that's a vivid dream too. It sounds like
Mm. But
dreams are crazy.
how did finals go for you?
They went pretty well. I had one like exam, and then I had 4 essays to write, and then like a voice threads kind of presentation to do, which is basically like, if you don't know, if you're not in college, on Blackboard you can do like a voice thread, so you can record yourself talking on top of a PowerPoint and then like share it with your whole class just automatically. And that one went pretty well. And then I had to also record an inaugural speech, which I never thought I would have to do in my life. And now I know I don't want to be a politician because, or at least president, because that was just so exhausting. That was boring.
You know,
It was,
I
yeah.
bet if you ever get to that point, people will help you write it, including myself. So
That's true.
you won't be alone in case you ever get to the stage where you're running for president.
This is true. This is true.
Yes.
But it'll hopefully be my ideals, not my speech making skills alone, because god, it was intense too, because it had to be 10 minutes long, like 8
Mm-hmm.
to 10 minutes. And it was like, it was so aggressive. I was like, oh my god, how do you even like talk for 10 minutes, because like when you have to type it out before,
Yeah.
because we had to type it out and then we had to record ourselves. So I was like, how do I make words, I was like, what are words? How do I do that? Oh god, it was stressful. I
How
know.
many recordings did it take to do to get it right?
I did like 4 or 5 times. I like started over,
That's not
and
too bad.
then no, but it took far too long to record that thing. Oh my god, it was annoying. But
Especially
then
like a 10-minute thing. I bet like you get 8 minutes in, you like fib
you
it.
mess up. Oh my god. The amount of times I got to the 6 minute mark, and I don't know what it was about the 6 minute mark, but I just kept fudging up. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't handle speaking somehow. And it was ridiculous. I don't know. But Yeah, and other than that, I got my grades back today. I felt like a smart noodle because
Oh
I got 2 A's and 2 B's. Well, 2 B pluses, excuse me. I felt very good. What you looking at over there?
no, I'm pointing my ear, but you can't tell because it's covered by the headphones. But I'm listening to see exactly what your grades are.
Oh, I got 2 A's and 2 B pluses.
That is great.
Yes,
Congratulations.
I'm gonna be on the dean's list, Mr. Sir. The
Oh,
smart noodle.
nice, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. How are your grades? Because you got them back today too. But if you don't want to share them, you're not as smart a noodle as I am.
I mean, I can say it. There's no difference in saying and saying not. I got um all A's, so that's good. But
Oh, that's awesome. Congrats.
thing is, there's this one grade I wasn't quite sure about, and like how I was like working on this essay for psychology. I don't know if you know, but I spent countless hours on it, everything, and then like she did the same thing that she's been doing to me. But I can tell she didn't read it. She just gave me an 80. I'm just
How do
like,
you know she didn't read it though?
because she's one of her comments was something that didn't make any sense if she had read it.
What was the comment?
All right, I gotta go into detail now. All right.
Yes.
So basically, like in my paper, when I was talking about why the study was important, I was talking about like previous studies, and I quoted a statistic from a previous study, and she said that statistics from studies need to go in the results section, but the results aren't going to be of the previous studies. It's going to be the study that I'm like prepping. You know what I'm saying? And then she said my summary was not detailed at all and didn't make sense. And that's because that wasn't my summary. That was just introduction before I hit my summary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
So
like,
she wasn't finishing that whole thing then.
yeah, that's what I'm
She
saying.
really, oh wow.
It was like minimum 4 pages, 4 to 6 is what she said. I wrote 7 pages, which, and then she said like one of the rubric guidelines that she put down like was that I did not offer enough information. It wasn't detailed enough. And I'm like, well, obviously I had some detail. I didn't just like have airless filler words, but it's whatever. Like I still got an A. She can't stop this train, but it's just like I know that if there weren't for the like auto graded stuff in the participation, I'd have a flat 80 because that's all she gives me. And it's like frustrating because she doesn't give like enough feedback for me to like understand how to fix stuff. And when I emailed her about something that like she said on the lab report that I didn't do something, and then I highlighted where I thought I did it and asked her for more clarification, she didn't respond. So I was like, and she responded to subsequent emails about other things. So it's like
she just didn't want to do it at that point. It sounds like a little bit.
It's yes, and it's like it's really really annoying. So yeah. Anyway, that
sounds
was
a little
like
shady.
that was my dilemma, and I was like, my joke was like, because she was like the last one to put in grades. I'm like, I bet she got to my grade and she was like confused. It's like, how the hell did he get a 93? Like, I've been giving him 80s the whole time. I don't understand. Like, and yeah, that's what slowed her up. But yeah, everything's good. Everything's good.
I'm
on track.
glad. Snap. All right. Well, next semester I'm coming for your A train. I'm gonna get all A's too. Hopefully.
All right, cool.
We'll see.
Cool.
Hopefully.
I mean, it's grades are stupid anyway. Like, only reason why I care is because I gotta make it to a certain place.
That's true. Everyone's got to make it to a certain place eventually.
And that place is heaven.
Yes. Speaking of heaven, segue. What movement are you doing there?
I don't know, but I feel like this should be like a new thing that I do.
Okay. If you're listening on Spotify, Dylan just had his hands together and was like bowing. It was very interesting movement.
to the left and then to the right, in case you wanted to know.
To the left, to the left, to the right, to the right.
Oh wait. After I record it and post it, does like it switch? Does it flip?
Huh?
You know what? Don't whatever. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's gonna stay. Yeah, it's gonna stay like that. Got you. I'm in my own place, so yeah.
I see that.
All right. So guide us to the next segue that you were segueing us to.
Segue. We have a bit of a somber topic today. We're going to be talking about college student disappearances, kind of going with the college student theme we got going on. Yeah. Could
Yeah.
you imagine disappearing as a college student?
Imagine disappearing. Well, you know, I think it's really sad because that is a great transition period in your life, you know, and it's for many people their first chance of independence, right?
Definitely.
But you know, when I imagine disappearing, if you watch enough disappearance videos, you've or read enough stories, you come to find out that people don't really disappear; they die, and the body is never found. So
That's true.
whenever I hear just disappearances, unless it's some criminal that's trying to escape, more than likely, right? The disappearance is where did they go, who killed them, and where's the body. That's really what the bottom line is. But like,
That's true.
they're not alive. Sad to say.
That's a little morbid. Unless you're dealing
R.I.P.
with like a criminal mind situation where it's like they got someone in their basement and they're doing something. I don't know. You
Yeah.
know? And it's like a long-term captive situation, which like I'm sure it happens, and I've definitely seen news stories of like those people who get kidnapped and then they're in a basement for 18 years or something crazy. But I don't know. Just it sounds crazy. It's
Yeah.
insane. Some people in the world are really a little kooky. You're just out and about being like, hey, let me snatch that person right there. I don't know what goes through like a kidnapper's mind. Like I want to know, but I don't want to know, you know?
I have a feeling that I have a pretty good idea, right? Right. So no, I'm not a kidnapper. I'm not a
I was about
kidnapper.
to say. I was like, what do you mean?
Uh,
What do you mean?
I know. Everybody watch yourself because who knows? I might be coming around that corner. All right. You might get snatched whether you want to or not. And if you want to, I guess congratulations.
You've been snatched. You
You've
got
been
caught.
snatched. But it's probably one of those things where like I found that often these kidnappers, they're desperate and they've often had some form of abuse in their life, right? Especially in their childhoods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like every animal, our early ages are part of like learning how to socialize, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when that is altered, it affects our brains just as it does like a dog or any other animal. That's why like you can tell a dog hasn't been properly socialized when it's younger because it'll just like go ballistic on other dogs. Like, yeah. So it's part of that, and also obviously there's some mental illness involved, and I feel like a lot of people have some inner like inhibitions, but then there's like they check themselves and like, wait, I shouldn't do that. So it could also be impulse control, right? And of course you read about other stories where people are psychopathic and they plan ahead and commit these acts, but even still, I feel like that could be a form of impulse control, but
yeah, definitely.
and also like if you get someone mad enough, people can do horrible things. Don't put yourself out of the situation. I'm sure everyone has the ability to do something like that. It's just, would they do it to someone they don't know? And that's where the craziness comes in.
I don't know if everyone has it in them. I
don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I have it in me. I'm just saying everyone else does.
What do you mean? So you're pinning everything that goes wrong in the world on other people?
No, I'm just saying like say someone did you really dirty
Mm-hmm.
and they hurt your family or something and they've been treating you horribly for years and they're just so persistent and no one does anything about it. Maybe you
Mm-hmm.
want to take matters into your own hands, right? But often the times when that's the case, they'll figure out that link and they'll actually give a crap when it matters the most and charge you with a crime. It's really creepy when, and that's when I say not everyone can do this, when you harm someone that you have no relation to. And that's why there's a disappearance because there's
Mm-hmm.
no like perp, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like in terms of like crime in general, maybe not everyone, but many people can do such things.
I don't know. I still don't feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like I know I've grown up with like the incentive or like that kind of thought process of like, yeah, there's bad people in the world, but the majority of people are good people in the world. And like those cases where it's like where someone's like murdering someone or kidnapping someone or doing something like a really horrific act against another person, it's being reported because it's rare, because it's news, right? Because it's something that's out of the ordinary that doesn't typically happen. And so, obviously, because it's something so rare and out of the ordinary, then it's something that's kind of like hyper focused on because it's like, whoa, what is this thing that doesn't normally happen, you know? And so that's kind of why I would say, like, no, I don't think everyone's got it in them because when it does happen and when it is like when those kinds of things are reported, then people are like shocked by it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, I understand your point, and
Mm-hmm.
I think you made a great point. As homicides are determined in per 100,000 people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if it's over like 10, it's considered high or whatever, something like that. So
Yeah.
that goes to show you that it is rare, but at the same time, um, you don't have to go back too far in history to find. I feel like mass atrocities are far more common in human history than singular attackers, right? Um, I think it's quite easy for people to objectify other people and minimalize their humanness whenever it's a group of people. Like, obviously everyone knows what the Holocaust is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Rwanda genocide, Cambodian genocide, you got the Congo
Armenian.
genocide,
Yeah. Oh, there's that
Armenian
one too.
genocide, the
That one's like
Uyghur
a current
people.
event.
Yeah,
Mm.
the Uyghur people now, Palestinians are getting attacked right now by
Oh, yeah.
Israelis currently. Um, you had um, that whole thing in Hong Kong where protesters were brutalized. Obviously, not as many were killed. And then, but yeah, it's in terms of like group to group conflicts and altercations and like complete atrocities, that's quite common. But in terms of individuals going against society at large, I guess you could say that is not as common. But I feel like those things are kind of connected in the sense that when there's less of a barrier to prevent such actions, for example,
Mm-hmm.
when there's a group backing you, you don't feel like there's any repercussions. When people think they can get away with it, is basically what I'm saying. If they think they
Yeah.
can get away with it because they're smart or they're just overly confident, I feel like many more people would commit such acts.
Hmm. That's interesting. I don't know. Cause like I don't like even though you're kind of saying that it's like those bigger acts like genocides and ethnic cleansings and stuff, I feel like even though like I feel like those happen a little less often than like murders do. Because like and maybe it's just me because like um there's so many like checks on like international law, and I only know this because I've taken an international law class. Um, but typically there's like another country in the world that like checks on that, or like and like there's organizations that kind of check on that, and that's why they don't happen as often. But like even when they do happen, they're longer lasting because like the international law process takes forever. um but then you also hear about like murders in like um certain areas happening really often, or like kind of like, for example, like gang violence or things like that happening on a daily basis, whereas like things like mass genocide or ethnic cleansing or like humanitarian kind of acts like that, because they're bigger scale and they take longer to ramp up, I feel like they happen a little less often.
I
And I
hear
like
what you're
obviously I don't
saying.
know this like I don't know the statistics of that or anything like that, but that's just kind of my thought process of it.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and
Hmm.
I'm sure a lot of those policies are no more than 200 years old. And if we look at the totality of human history, which what people say is like 300,000 years, right?
Hmm.
Um, there have been numerous cases of such events occurring, and obviously, with only 200 years out of 300,000 with international checks, I'm sure those occurrences would have continued and been more pervasive without those checks. And when you say less often, does it really matter if we give, like, for example, like, what was it? People say between 6 and 10 million people died during the Holocaust.
Hmm.
We spread that over the time, 1940s to now. That's still quite a few people each year, right? And if we could
Hmm.
extrapolate that outwards, like, how many is that compared to homicides over a year? I'm not sure, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like, I would definitely agree that in terms of like, it's pervasive over many more regions,
Yeah.
you know? Um,
Hmm.
but, the homicides we're talking in particular, as I'm saying, and what makes it maybe less so, because in general, homicides, they have some type of reason, people disappearing. Often there is no reason. And that's when I agree with you absolutely and wholeheartedly when I say, maybe it's less frequent and it's less likely that people are going to do such things because it literally makes no sense. It goes against human nature to
Yeah.
randomly find someone and decide to like freaking cut them up and throw them in different pieces and have your way with their body. Like that's
Yeah.
yeah,
It's bizarre.
it is
I
quite bizarre.
mean, both cases are bizarre, whether you're like looking at a person and saying, hey, that's mine now, or if you're a whole like state establishment, like country, saying, hey, this group of people, girl, you're out. Like both are kind of like they both go against human nature a little bit, I would
Mm,
say. So
I don't know though. I disagree. I
I mean,
disagree.
I said that and I was like, wait, maybe not, because people kind of,
Tribalism.
yeah, exactly, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. That's a whole different TED talk. Oh my gosh. Whoa.
Yeah, we could go in. There's so many interconnected pieces to what we're talking about. It could take forever.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows if you guys want to hear about, if you want us to do a pod on tribalism, let us know.
Yes, just make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, and we'll get right to your ideas.
Yeah.
Hit
And
that notification
because
bell.
now we're gonna post the like recording video on YouTube. Um Now you can actually comment too.
Oh my goodness.
There's a whole
What?
new land that we got going on.
Oh, now we got to deal with comments too. It's real fun being the commenter. But when you have to hear the comments, I don't know. Y'all better be nice.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
I mean, we're two nice people, and whenever someone posts on the YouTube world, I assume like whatever kind of um like the fan base is, that's kind of similar to whoever you are. I feel like it usually matches up. If you're a nice person posting, like a nice influencer, I feel like the fan bases are usually a little nicer. And if you're like a childish poster, then usually people are a little more childish. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into our actual specific stories? Because we both did a little bit of research, right? Do you want to kick
Yes.
off on telling me about your stories?
Okay. I think it's great that you're kicking me off to tell it first.
Yeah.
All right.
Passing the ball to you.
All right. So what I'm talking about, right, is this woman
Uh-huh.
named Lauren Spire is how you pronounce it, Spierer, right?
Mhm.
So she was a 20-year-old student at Indiana University, and she disappeared June 3rd of 2011, right?
Mhm.
So how it goes is she was spotted drinking with her friends, right?
Mhm.
And then that evening she was texting back and forth with one of her friends, and she was very, very intoxicated that night. Stranger danger times. It's not great to be a young woman and intoxicated alone. Not very helpful to your life. But
Yeah.
that night while she was intoxicated, right?
Mhm.
She left the bar and walked outside by herself barefoot with some leggings and
Barefoot.
barefoot, right?
That's a choice.
Wait, so yeah, she was intoxicated. She visited someone's apartment. She left the apartment, was found walking down the street in black leggings and a white shirt and barefoot. And then she was never seen from again. But but Hannah Wilson, another student who her body was actually found murdered 4 years later, right?
Okay.
This
Like
dude,
4 years after the Lauren Spire girl.
yeah, 4 years after
Okay.
the Lauren Spire girl, they actually found a body of a young lady who was killed, Hannah Wilson, and they were able to conclude that this guy had killed her due to DNA evidence, and that he was most likely the perp in this case as well, right? I'm not going to say his name because you don't remember the killer, remember the victim. So anyway, that this case is quite well known, and actually, if you want to do any more investigation into it and you like those kind of things, I highly suggest it because it's a very popular case, and uh, it's just strange how you can just walk off and there's no evidence whatsoever, no body found. Um,
Mhm.
Obviously, she was inebriated and alone at night, which is not
Mhm.
safe. It's like doing all the worst things at once. But yeah, that's what happened.
Wait, so they only found Hannah's body, not Lauren's?
That is correct. As you'll find in most disappearance cases, the body is one of the best ways to find evidence on a person, to
That's
do
true.
DNA evidence. And if you like go back through the history of like missing cases, um,
Mhm.
most of the ones where they found a body were in the times before DNA testing, right? And so you have
Mhm.
them John and Jane Doe cases where you have this body and you'll have evidence, but because there's no particular perp, you can't really link DNA evidence to it, right?
Mhm.
Now you can. Um,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right, unless you've been convicted of another crime or you're some type of like law enforcement or within the government records, um, you could commit such atrocities and they still will be able to find you because they won't have the DNA evidence. But
Yeah.
thankfully, there's Ancestry now. Ancestry is a great tool to help people find links and solve crimes. Um,
Mhm.
I believe there was like this other crime that was solved that way. I don't remember exactly how, but I know there has been one. Um, do you know about that one? What I'm talking about with Ancestry?
Ancestry? No, I don't think so. Are you doing a quick Google search?
You know it. Yeah.
That's what's up.
All right. So this is it.
Okay. Tell
So
me all about it.
great. So the Golden State Killer actually killed 13
Oh,
people. You've heard of this one. It's familiar to you.
yeah. I've definitely heard that name
Yeah.
before, but I don't know what like the whole story of it.
So,
Wasn't he a serial killer?
well, yes, he was a
Yeah.
serial killer. I'm trying to see when. Oh, many of them rapes and murders between the 1970s and 1980s. So again, before DNA evidence.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to see where exactly it talks about when he was found. apparently had a total of 64 victims, but
Oh
many
my
of them
gosh,
survived. Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
64.
Yeah, he raped 64 people. Freaking
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
I heard there was one serial killer that like I don't know if it's the right one, but I believe it was like the Jack the Ripper. Um and I know now that like there's some piece of cloth somewhere. I could be wrong about like that if it's Jack the Ripper or not. But there's like a piece of cloth somewhere that they're like now it's like from the 1800s, so it's really old. Um and so they're looking at the piece of cloth and like the blood stains on it, and now they're like looking to see if they can find out who Jack the Ripper is. It could be another serial killer that had like some sort of nickname like that, but I'm pretty sure it's Jack the Ripper. And that's really cool to me because like now we can go.
sorry, my stuff disconnected. Sorry about that.
Oh no. Our first Zoom tech difficulties. Wait, did you say something though, or did you miss something?
I missed everything you said for like the past 20 seconds.
Okay. Well, I was just saying how it's super cool that like now we can solve like and find the identities of like murderers and serial killers from like hundreds of years ago to centuries ago, you know?
Yeah, that is amazing.
With like DNA stuff, if it's still available. If it exists on like a piece of cloth or something. That's awesome, I think.
Yes.
Expose the murderers. Yes.
Also, let's get back to the topic at hand, right?
Yes, sorry.
Specifically, Lauren Spire. I know I'm butchering it. I'm sorry, guys. Right? Mm-hmm. So she actually has been dubbed an example of missing white woman syndrome, right? And basically, the idea is that young white women of affluent families, their disappearances are reported at a far higher rate, and far broader investigations are done into them as opposed to other disappearances. And actually, Indiana Daily Student, a student paper, did a story on Lauren about how there's this disparity between her coverage and another lady's coverage who, although she was also white and disappeared in the same area, she was not of an affluent family like Lauren. And so, you know, that goes to show you that, you know, even with the same racial and I guess regional backgrounds, there can be disparities in whether or not your disappearance is investigated and covered. So
definitely. And it's interesting how like, because a lot of this is based on like the media, right? It's kind of who the media picks out as like a good person, which is ridiculous in a disappearance case or a murder case or something like that.
Yeah.
Of like who's the most marketable story. That's like, it's insane to be almost cherry picked, even though you're missing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you're a missing person and you're like being cherry picked like that, like how much more likely are you to be found? You know, especially if you're like cherry picked sooner. Like say if you're a disappeared person and your case kind of goes viral within that like 28 to 48 hour period of like disappearing versus 5 years later or 2 years later or maybe even months later, you know? Like that kind of publicity for your case could like help a person be found.
Exactly. And you know, it's one of those things where it's just like we want more coverage for other people's, but then you got to think about it. Is it a zero sum? As in, can we cover everybody? Because so many people go missing. How are we going to choose who we cover at the broad national level? You know,
Definitely.
I think more often we should just give a comprehensive list of individuals and prioritize the disappearances in terms of like, you know, based off of evidence. So like if we have more evidence for one case and we're more likely to be able to find this person, or we think they're alive, then we'll broadcast it everywhere, post this and this and that. But if it's less likely that they're alive, maybe put it on the back burner. But all in all, we should always have a comprehensive list available to the public where you can see the details about a case and equal access. I feel like that'd be a good way.
I agree. I don't know about what you said about putting people on the back burner, because
I mean, how many people can you cover on the news? People want to see like
that's
the puppies.
True, and I get that. And that is true, and I get that, but like, what if you're one of those like 18 years missing people and you just happen to be in somebody's basement and you're just there like, hey, how about that?
I don't know. But maybe they don't
that's
want you
what makes
more.
it even harder to choose, because there are cases like that. As rare as they are, they're still there, So even in terms of time frame, I don't feel like you can really cherry pick who goes on the back burner, because I don't.
Okay, I feel like we can safely say that most people will not be kept in the basement over 30 years.
That's true.
So hopefully, but
because we don't know who's in a basement right now.
We don't know who's in the basement. I shouldn't. Prayers out to all the basement people, but like, I don't know how, even like, think about it. Like if they were kidnapped at 20 years old, like Lauren was, they'd be 50. Like the conditions of living in a basement for 30 years would have a large impact on their ability to be healthy and survive. So they might even survive 30 years.
That's true. I mean, that's bizarre to think of.
It's sad.
That is sad.
But anyway, like, what about your cases? What, you had some cases too.
I do. So I have one of a girl named Kristin Denise Smart. She was a really popular case. She disappeared May 25th of 1996. So it's been a hot minute. So she was a freshman in college, which is crazy to hear, because that's fairly young. She's like 18, 19 age, kind of. So she was officially declared dead kind of that same time period. So basically she also went to a party. She got drunk, and then she was like, she passed out on her, like one of the party people's, like one of their neighbors' lawns. And so then 3 other students, I'm not really sure if they were like her friends or close friends, they helped her get back to her like residence hall, her dorm. And one of the 3, because they were all, I believe, 3 dudes, one of the guys was named Paul Flores. Don't know what his ethnicity is. And like, I guess 2 of the guys like had to go somewhere or something like that. So that Paul Flores guy, he was like asked to finish the trip. The 2 other guys were like, hey, Paul, you got it. Peace out. And so after that, she was never seen again once the other 2 guys like dipped. Yeah. And so basically, police investigated. They found a bunch of items of interest in like Paul's possession, and for some reason Paul's father too. And then I don't know what like items of interest are. I guess like that could mean like her ID or something like that. I'm not trying to speculate, but I don't know. I guess a personal items of hers, right? And so Paul and his father, those 2, they were arrested, taken into custody on April 13th of actually this year.
Oh, wow.
Because that's when their like home was searched and like police and investigators found those items of interest. And they were like, so they got arrested and taken into custody. And so in the meantime, it was like kind of presumed that she was like abducted, raped, and killed. I don't exactly know what made police and investigators believe she was raped and killed. The thing that like kind of put her on the back burner as far as being searched for sooner is like authorities believed she was on an unannounced vacation, which like is kind of ridiculous because having just come out of freshman year of college, I don't know anyone that has the money to go on a solo unannounced vacation. I'm sorry, not to shade the authorities or anything, but like what 18, 19-year-old has the money or the funds to go on a peace out solo vacation?
You're right. That doesn't make any sense.
Like, it's a little bizarre. And so the kind of outcome of that, because I guess police and her school weren't kind of communicating and staying on the same page, was why a lot of her kind of investigation and like search partying going was kind of put on the back burner. What like became of that was there was like an act passed, which is so awesome. It's called the Kristen Smart Campus Security Act, and specifically it was passed in California, even though it should kind of be passed a little bit everywhere. And it's basically to like make sure that colleges and local police departments actually collaborate, which to think they weren't collaborating is a little crazy, and like report back to one another when they're talking about like violence and like missing students. So that's really awesome. And it's kind of unfortunate that whatever school she went to, because I don't know what school she went to, her school and the police weren't thinking to communicate anyways, because if you're looking for a person, how are you not going to work with authorities? Like, you know,
yeah,
it sounds like it's a little not silly, but a little silly.
Yeah.
On whoever's,
you would expect better.
Yeah. Like, I don't know who said, like, the thing that gets to me the most is this unannounced vacation assumption. Like, what is that? You know?
Sounds so lazy. I just see someone like eating it, like a detective, like chilling, like eating a donut, just sitting back, relaxing. He's like, oh, this is the young lady gone missing. Like, oh, again? Damn. Well, how old is she? Oh, she just got out of college. What was I doing? I was on a vacation. She's probably on a vacation. More than likely, she's on a vacation. Like,
she left.
Come on. Like, I'm sitting here chilling. I don't want to have to get up my paperwork and doing some investigating. I'm going to chill.
Nah. I'm sure that's not how it went down, but
sound like it to me. The result is the same. And that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was her at a college administration, because I don't know what I mean, if it was May, it was like the end of the semester, so it was like end of the year kind of situation. But still, like, I don't know, it just sounds like there was a lot miscommunication. But I'm definitely glad that like now there's an act, you know, that was passed so that this doesn't happen again, because it feels silly that it did, that there was so little communication happening, you know? And like, you know, it takes 7 years to be like declared dead. But for her, it seems like she was declared dead quite sooner. So like, for me, it's like that kind of question that like comes up is like, at what point are you going to stop looking for a missing person and start looking for a dead body, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you reminded me about the time limit it takes before a person's considered, you know, dead, because I wouldn't have guessed to be 7 years. I thought it was like after like a week or something. So I guess that's good news that they'll put the effort in as if they're alive. But, you know, from common sense, I'd probably say like after like 2 days, 2 or 3 days, probably not.
2 or 3 days?
because more than likely they're not going to be kept alive for too long.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell because like whoever's the kidnapper, like every kidnapper is different. Like even though I would hate to say that, as if like there's like a wide enough amount of individuals of kidnappers. Which
every kidnapper is different. They have their own personality, their own motives, their own equipment, and
yeah. On BuzzFeed, you can take a test and you can find out what kind of kidnapper you are.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing. I feel like I'd be the kind of kidnapper that would be quite successful for 20 years, and then I would just turn myself in because I feel sorry, and that would be how I'd be. Mm-hmm. What kind of kidnapper would you be?
I think I would be a nice kidnapper.
Oh, so you'd like to be the one to keep them alive and give them juice boxes?
Maybe a couple juice boxes, yeah.
Oh my god.
Maybe a cake or two.
Oh, maybe you'd be like one of the crazy people where like you just want people to hang out with, right? Because I've seen like movies about that. Like they just want people to hang out with, right? And so they like chain them inside the house and they like act like they're just buddies.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
And it's like, hey bro, how's it going? Oh, are you doing fine in here? Hey, you want to play video games? You want to sing with me? And like stuff like that. And then like, but they can't escape. That seems like how you'd be.
Oh my gosh. Be like, yeah, let's do some karaoke.
And like, oh, you tried to escape again today. It looks like you're losing another toe.
Another toe.
You chop it off.
Oh, that's bizarre to think of. Oh my gosh.
It is bizarre and scary to think of.
Yeah. I don't want to know what goes on behind the scenes in a kidnapper's thought process. That sounds scary.
Yeah. It's
because it's definitely not as hilarious and nonchalant as we made it sound for a second there. I think it's a lot more morbid and like creepy deepy. I don't know.
Speaking of like morbid stuff, let me plug the listeners a few YouTube channels to follow. All right. So because I've been following this like mystery stuff for a while, right? You got Lazy Masquerade, you got Disturbin', right? These are all YouTube channels. And then another one is Coffee House Crime, is something that I've been watching recently. These are a fairly new channel. Those are three that I've been watching. How about you? You got any like crime videos, website sources to peruse?
I don't know. I mostly watch like crime shows, which are definitely like dramatized a lot. So I'm like big on Criminal Minds.
Okay.
I haven't watched it, but I know a comedian, John Mulaney, that I love. He watched a lot of it was like what was it called? It was like something SVU. You know what I'm talking about?
Law and Order SVU?
Yeah, Law and Order SVU. Even though I really should get into that one.
Are those real? Are those based on real stories?
No. They're definitely over dramatized, definitely fictional. But I'm into that. One that's like I know is a real one is a little more kind of based on like what's happening at the border. It's called like it's on Netflix. Hold on, let me look it up real quick.
So
I think it's like
at the border?
Huh?
Murders at the border?
No. It's called Immigration Nation.
Oh.
And even though it's not necessarily murders, it's about all the kind of basically like how a little bit of the concentration camps that were happening during the Trump administration. And that kind of sad
wait.
stuff.
What's so bad? Let me come back up. Concentration camps aren't so bad. I remember a few of my friends went to concentration camp. They called it like mass summer concentration camp or something like that. And they concentrated and like were focused on studying the whole time. So I don't see why like forcing people to concentrate on studying.
No. That's not what it is. Silly goose. That's not what it is. That's
why Jewish
Holocaust concentration camps, just a little gentler.
Whoa. That's why Jewish people are known to be so good at school, because they had to spend time in the concentration camps.
Oh,
Didn't you?
No. Mr. Sir, no.
And that's why Hitler always had a stick, and he's like, "Hey, your point," and he's pointing at the board, and he's like, "Learn this, you smart Jews."
Y'all,
Okay, I'm being
no.
stupid. Obviously, I'm not a complete idiot.
I would
So
hope
please,
so, Mr. Sir. Oh my
yeah.
God, you had me concerned for a minute there. My goodness. I hope we all know what concentration camps are. I'm looking at you, Dylan.
I know concentration camp.
I'm glad.
So by the way, it's been going on for a while. We can see this topic later if you guys are interested in hearing us debate about it or specifically want us to review and talk about a specific case. But we've been talking about stuff so depressing for so long.
Definitely.
We talked about missing white women syndrome, which there's many other women that go missing. Obviously, young people in general are of the highest risk of going missing. Actually, just saw a statistic that says and this is Canada specifically, but I feel like it probably is parallels many other Western societies. But 24.7% of missing people are 10 to 14, 46.7% are 15 to 19. So that's a large chunk right then and there. And then 20 to 24 is 5.3. And then the second most is 40 to 44, which is a really weird number. I guess midlife crisis, whatever. But yeah, so
Not the midlife
anyway,
crisis.
these are really heavy topics, and we want to lighten it up with what we consider, right, to be our top 10 cutest animals. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So
we're gonna do every other. So we're gonna switch off.
Oh, okay. So are we gonna start with 10 or let's start with 10? We gotta build it up. Up. All right, you can go first.
Okay. I love axolotls. I think they're so cute. They're adorable.
Can you explain what an axolotl is?
Yes. Okay, so they're these little aquarium kind of. They're like underwater
so they're fish.
like animals. I mean, kind of, as far as I know. They're not really a fish. They're like amphibians, I think. They're like these little salamander looking guys, and they got these squishy little faces, and they have these little almost like antenna horns kind of thing on either side of their head, and their little hands just spread out, and they're so cute. I think they're very adorable, and they got these cute little tails. I think they're great. They come in all kinds of colors too. They're so cute. They come in the brown ones. I think we were talking about it earlier. You were like, the brown ones look a little nasty, and I kind of agree with you. I think the pink and white ones are really cute. I think there's ones that come in purple and multicolors. They're really fun. There's some that have polka dots. There's ones that are yellow. They're so cute. I love axolotls. I think they're very cute.
All right.
What about you?
So for number 9, I choose cockatoos.
Ooh.
Cockatoos. They're a kind of bird. Normally they're white colored. They have a little plume on their head. They're very intelligent, similar to parrots. And they're about a similar size, but they have lots of personality. They'll talk back with their masters, or their owners. They'll dance. They'll do all kinds of things. They'll protect their loved ones. They're very, very personal animals, and especially for a bird. And I think they're just so cute. So yeah, cockatoos.
Cockatoos. That's fun. I don't know. I think the next animal for me would be elephants. I think it's a little bit of a more typical animal, but I think elephants are really cute. Especially baby elephants, because they're so small. Okay, I love that. In that, I don't know what movie it is. I could not tell you, but it has The Rock in it. And it's I wish I could tell you what movie it was, but it's so cute when there's little baby elephants, and they're like the size of like a dog or a cat, like a small dog or cat, and it's just so cute and small.
Oh,
So like baby elephants, they're cute, I
okay.
think.
Okay. I think that's a good choice. I will say though that adult male elephants, um, with their territorial business and stuff, maybe aren't quite as cute, but you know,
I mean,
you,
animals
I
are a little
mean,
territorial,
they are,
right?
you know,
All animals are for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
So
This is my turf right here. This frame, don't
yeah,
get in
even
it.
people are because they exchange money and goods for
Yes,
territory, like a little
exactly,
house or apartment.
exactly.
Just to ask New Yorkers or LA goers because they pay so much money for like a little apartment or plot of land or something, you know?
But it's nice to have something that's yours. Anyway, I'll go to number 7, right? Number 7. All right,
Yeah, we're on something.
number 7. Um, what I choose. Hold up, I don't want to get this wrong. So one moment, I want to make sure I get this absolutely correct. Uh, wait. I don't know why
Hmm.
this animal is like slipping my freaking mind, and it's making me very, very upset.
What's it look like? Describe
It's a kind of dolphin, bruh, but it's like
it. Okay.
it's a specific kind of dolphin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to find it immediately.
Okay.
And so just bear with me one moment, viewers, because like
Do you want me to say my next animal while you search?
yes, and then I'll do a double.
Okay.
So
Sounds
number
good.
6, and yeah.
Yeah. My next animal would be a hedgehog. Hedgehogs are so cute. They're so small. I like small animals. They're very cute. They're very fun. Um, Even though they're a little prickly, a little poiky, I think their little noses and their little hands are just, they're so cute. And they're very fun loving, you know? At least I've heard. I have never seen a hedgehog, but if you have one, let us know because send us a picture of it. Because that would be so fun.
Hedgehogs are, I think that was actually the best choice like I've heard so far besides axolotls. Like I'm vibing with that choice right now. Hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs are fun.
Do there like horns or whatever spikes? Do they even work? 'Cause I feel
I
people
think
petting
they
them.
do. Yeah, they're actually they'll stab you if they feel really threatened, I think. They're a little less aggressive than like the other ones. What's the other one? That are like they're like cousins to hedgehogs.
You mean like the porcupines?
Porcupines, yes.
Yeah, those are like
Those guys
real.
are like intense. But hedgehogs are like the domesticated kind of version, I believe. If
Okay,
I'm not wrong.
all right. So
Did you find your animal?
okay, hold on. So this is like,
Drum roll.
oh
Everybody
my
drum roll.
god. Okay, so the drum roll is.
Ongoing.
So I will just choose because to make it easier, I'll get back with you guys. I'll probably post on the video. Actually, I believe I'll just go with bottlenose dolphins, but the exact kind of dolphin that I'm looking for, I will post later. But
We'll post
bottlenose
it, yes.
dolphins, they are some of the smartest animals ever. They've had romantic lives with humans. After all, they've
What?
been used in the
Wait,
military.
back up. What?
Let's not get into that today. All right, we got to keep it light. All right, let's not get into that today. We got it. We said we're gonna keep it light. We're keeping it light. So anyway, they're really smart in terms of the acceptation quotient. They're one of the highest animals ever, and they have great like social interactions. You know, their language is very complex. They protect each other. They protect even humans away from sharks. Like they're really
That's
cool,
so
interesting.
nice.
Yeah. So um,
Sharks I heard are not that dangerous. I think it was Mark Rober that did he did a video that kind of researched how sharks, if like sharks are interested in human blood, and he did like samples of blood, urine, and then like regular or something else. I don't remember what the other liquid was. And then cow's blood or something like that. And they were more interested in the cow's blood than they were the human blood. Mm-hmm. So sharks are not as dangerous as you might think, even though horror movies and Jaws kind of lied to us. They will not flip over. Well, I'm actually not an animal person. Um, I don't
okay.
think they'll flip over. A shark will flip over your boat or eat your boat.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a few shark attacks in
Mm-hmm.
my day, obviously online because I'm nowhere near an ocean. But
Yeah.
like, they're just not very smart. So that's part of the
Dang.
problem. They're smart. They're not very smart, and they're extremely dangerous. They're like the kings of the, I don't know, sea jungle.
Sea
But
jungle?
yeah, the sea
The
jungle.
ocean.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll go through my next one. This would be number 4. Um
Yes.
Number 4, I choose horses.
Ooh. What
Horses,
horses?
what kind of horse? Don't do that to me. You think I know enough about horses to tell you exactly what kind of horse? I do
Hey,
not.
who knows? Maybe you're a horse boy.
Maybe, okay, if I want to say, I think miniature ponies are really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the small animals.
Yeah,
Those are so cute.
they are cute. But yeah, miniature ponies are definitely up there. And yeah, they're awesome.
I love that.
All right.
That's fun.
What's your 3?
Number 3. I think I like chinchillas.
Oh, okay.
Chinchillas are so cute. I think chinchillas are my spirit animal, most likely. Because they're just they're like squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
They will scamper around. They're so small, they're so cute. Their tails are so fuzzy and they're like very friendly and outgoing and just like chinchillas are cute. They can be
Mm-hmm.
out in the wild. You can have them as pets. They don't really care. They're easygoing, flexible. I love it.
That's
Chinchillas are
that's
cool.
that's awesome. All right.
Yes.
I'm at number 2.
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously the dog and cat debate, and I don't want to say one and then let you have the other one and then not say it and then I'll be mad. So I'm not going to say either one of them. So I'll let you figure out which one is going to be left out. All right, you get to decide.
All
So for
right.
number 2, I want to say donkeys. I really like donkeys. They're smart for one,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're very protective too, and they're really loving creatures, right? So you should
Mm.
check out like some pet donkey videos, and you'll be impressed at the kind of compassion and understanding that they can have with another for a human. It's really
Yeah.
amazing. Like that's why they're kept around livestock as guardians because like that's how much they care about they peoples. But yeah.
Really? Oh, that's so cool. I actually
Mhm.
didn't know that they were like loving and compassionate. I thought they were just like little stubborn ass hoes, you know?
I mean, they are asses, so.
Ooh, play on words. Love it. Um, I think for the next one, words. Oh my god. Uh, my favorite animal is probably an owl.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's a good one. We're
huh?
gonna have a special debate about dogs and cats in a separate thing.
Listen, on that debate, I take dogs. Cats are
Okay,
mean.
okay,
Cats are mean.
dogs definitely, but
Yeah.
dogs are in my heart would be number 1, but because we're a collective, she chose owls as number 1. Now tell us about some owls. Tell us about some owls. Why are they so cute?
Owls are so fun. They are fun fact because I know a lot of fun, crazy owl facts because I had a phase early on where I would research all these owl
Okay,
facts.
that hurt.
Hmm?
I was trying to do the owl neck thing, and I'm like, I can't go that
Yeah,
far.
they can turn their heads like 180 degrees. It's crazy. I
Hmm.
believe there's some owls that can do the full 360. I could be wrong. Someone in the comments or somewhere correct me. Um, I also love owls because they're like they make all these cool sounds, but also if you're into Greek mythology, owls are like the animal of Athena, which is like the goddess of wisdom, the goddess of something else that I don't remember right now. And I just think that's super cool because it's like it shows that like owls are really smart and kind of intuitive, you know? And I think it's cool how they kind of hang out together, but there's also kind of like they hang out alone too. Like
They do
they're not
both.
as social as other animals are, but like they can be, I believe. I could be wrong. Um, but I think that's super cool. And just
Yeah.
like, yeah,
So that wraps up our list. That's pretty cool. So
that is
our final part of this video,
final
right?
segment. Yeah,
Because again, this video was very, very dark. It was heavy. We're gonna
a little
talk
bit.
about, right?
I think we did a good job of keeping it lighthearted, though.
We did, but
I think so.
let's talk about there's a few news outlets online that you
Yeah,
can access. We're just gonna list them quickly because we're running short on time. But
yeah, we're
we have
running long today.
happynews.com. It's a great online news outlet. We got Some Good News by John Krasinski.
That
Where's
one's a
that?
really popular one.
Where's that exactly?
I think that's on YouTube. I
YouTube.
think also on Spotify, I believe. I know it started on YouTube and I know they have an Instagram account. Super cool, super fun. And like it's come to the point, actually, I remember like in the middle of quarantine because he started that at the beginning of quarantine because the world was like falling apart and we were all burning. Um, I thought it was so fun because even though he had like the main show, people would like post on their Instagram stories or on their like Instagram reels or whatever, and they would like be the host for some good news kind of show. And it's a good time over there too.
Hmm.
So shout out to John Krasinski because he's cool.
That's great. So our final pieces are goodnewsnetwork.org, also online, which is a website.
Yeah.
Optimist Daily, which is also an online outlet. And
And
then
if
our
you're a
final,
Reddit goer, sorry
yep,
to cut you off there, but if you're a Reddit goer, you can look up the hashtag or the page for good news. Mm-hmm.
yes. So those are it.
Yeah,
Thank you
those
for
are,
tuning in.
yeah. Don't forget to shoot us an email at official.hearusout at
Yes.
gmail.com. Send us some questions, send us some recommendations. Follow us on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
at official hear us out or official underscore here underscore us underscore out. And then we're also available on Spotify and Anchor. Um, and then we're also available on Google Podcasts. That took me a minute to remember. Oh, and we're also on Twitter. Oh my God, we're a little bit everywhere.
We are
Um,
everywhere, especially for
yeah,
2 episodes.
yes. For Twitter, just because we have some different um usernames because some people stole our name. We have beef with the other Hear Us Outer podcasts. I'm officially starting beef with them. Our Twitter is here underscore us out pod.
Yes.
So send us a tweet, like us on Insta.
To all that.
We don't have a Facebook. That's the only thing we're missing. Maybe we'll have a Facebook by next time.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? All right. So thank you for listening and shoot us an email, Twitter, Instagram comment, YouTube comment, because now we're on YouTube too. Um, and tell us whatever you want, and we'll hear you out.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.